Alright, we're going to do a night flight in the Redbird TD2 simulator. This is out of Kilo Golf Whiskey Bravo, DeKalb County Airport. Nighttime, clear skies, Cessna 182 RG. Got a little different camera here. Got a Garmin Virb Ultra 30, so much better than my other camera. Just trying it out. We'll start by bringing the master on, bring the beacon on. And I'll bring on the avionics. I really usually wouldn't do that until I start it, but like to see them lit up. Flaps are up. Mixture is rich. Props forward. Throttle is back to idle. And we'll just bring the feeder on the brakes. Showing brakes here. Start the engine. Engine starts up fine. And we have good oil pressure, vacuum's alive. Usually I'd wait for the oil temperatures to come up in the real airplane, but we can't hurt the simulator. So I'll go ahead and do a quick mag check. And cycle the prop once. Plane checks out. So, before taking off, I'm making sure the trims are set, flaps are set. I'll bring on the nav lights, taxi light, and landing lights. So, we're lit up now, runway 27. All gauges are in the green. No warning lights. We're just going to go in the pattern. So, one time around the pattern. So, slowly bring in full power. No warning lights. Airspeed alive. $40. $50. 55, runway heading, positive rate, gear up, pitch for 80 initially, pitched for 80, full power. Gauges are in the green, no warning lights. And we'll go crosswind. And we're at pattern altitude of 1,800 feet. So we'll pull back the power. Trim the airplane. And we're now heading south. It's interesting, the Garmin 530 works just like the real Garmin 530. I've done about 20 actual approaches now with holds, misses. It's pretty incredible how well it works, including with autopilot. So I'm turning downwind, 1,800 feet. If I take a look to my left, I should see the runway over there. Use a little rudder and cheat. Yep, just barely. It's over there on the left. That is one of the downsides to the simulator. It's hard to see the airport with just these 45 screens and the main front screen. So if you're flying in the pattern, you have to do really wide patterns to make sure you don't overshoot the runway coming the other way. But, okay, we're plenty downwind. Gained a little altitude too. I'm going to bring the gear down since we're below gear speed. 1 notch of flaps, and I'm going to pull the power down to 14 inches. And that'll pretty much give us an 80 knot pattern speed for base and final. So we have our 80 knots, so we can start going downhill now. I always teach you don't go down until you slow down. So we've slowed down. We have our 80 knots at 14 inches, which will give us a 500 foot per minute rate of descent. I'm heading to the north, so that'll be my base leg. Airport should be to our left. There it is over there. Adjust the throttle.
Leaving altitude.
Just a little. Bring in the second notch of flaps. Verified, 20 degrees. Verified gear is down. Airspeed 75 knots, which is plenty fast. There's the runway, 75 knots. We're 400 feet above the ground. This approach is looking good. We're just a touch high, but that's okay. Now we're on glide path. I'll bring in the final notch of flaps. Just keep that 2.7 right in the center of the windscreen all the way down. .70 knots. Little up trim. Landing lights now illuminating. Power off. Round out. Hold it off, hold it off, hold it off. And touchdown. 50 knots. Flaps up. Power's in. Back in the climb. Positive rate. Gear up. Show you one more thing, spin. So we're climbing through 1,200 feet, which is 400 above the ground, or 300 anyway. Runway heading. The Cessna 182, especially at low airspeeds, has quite a bit of left-turning tendency. You really need to step on the rudder, especially as angle of attack and airspeed decreases. Okay, so climbing, got a full moon there on the right.
Altitude.
There's that moon. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do a power on stall into a full developed right hand turn spin. I'm going to pitch up. I'm going to bring that right rudder all the way to its stop. Right rudder's fully in. Plane's trying to roll to the left. Right rudder, right rudder. There's the stall. We're stalled. Spin develops. We'll let her go around a little. There she goes. That's a good brake. Power off. Good brake. Full left rudder. Stall is broken.
Leaving altitude.
Pull out nicely. Add some throttle. Kind of a dirty little spin there. Let's do a sharp bank. Go 60 degrees.
Leaving altitude.
Then we can do direct navigation. Where we flew out of, I can put it right in here, KGWB. And we can come around. Need about a 130 heading to get there. After you spin, you get lost. So there's the runway. We'll land the opposite runway just to save some time. So we're plenty high. 182, and what's nice is you can throw the gear down up to 140 knots. I'll just bring the throttle off for now. We're 2 miles out. Airport's right there. This is I-69 right here. I have the graphics turned down a little lower so it's not as sharp. It can go as high as a 4K resolution, but it really taxes the processor. So I'll bring a notch of flaps in.
Leaving altitude.
We have our 80 knots. Gear is down, flaps are 10 degrees. Doing about 900 foot per minute in this configuration. Little up trim. Another notch of flaps. .75 knots, gonna add a little throttle. There's runway 9 this time. Right on glide slope. Full flaps. Gear is down. Landing lights are on. Landing a little slower this time. I'm dragging it in like a short field landing. Pitch. Full flare touchdown. Right at stall speed. It was, well, not, it was about 45 knots. So that's all there is to it. Pretty incredible aircraft. It can land, you can literally touch down and land within 500 or 600, or 600 or 700 feet. Take off in less than 1,000. Clear a 50-foot obstacle in 1,500. And still cruise in the 170 knot range on 14 gallons an hour, which isn't too bad. So the simulator's just like the real plane. We're get clear of the runway here. So for my next flight, I would reset my trims. flaps up, avionics off, nav and landing and taxi lights off, beacon stays on till the engine's off, mixture off, beacon, master, mags. Just that easy.